Hello friends, have you ever measured your blood pressure? Self-BP monitoring at home has become very easy these days. Perhaps you will also have such an apparatus at your home and you too must have measured blood pressure at home. But do you know what is the right way to measure blood pressure? Do you remain silent for 5 minutes before measuring blood pressure or empty your bladder before measuring it? How long should there be a gap between eating and drinking something and measuring blood pressure? These and many such questions about which we probably do not even think. But if we do not take care of them, there may be an error in blood pressure reading. Today's video is going to be very interesting and I can assure you that some of the things discussed here will surprise you. So let's take another step towards understanding blood pressure. Myself Dr. Dimple Dalal and I welcome you to another video of Visual Designers. First, I want to thank especially those people who have supported our educative channel through Super Thanks. Life is precious and a healthy body helps us to lead a meaningful life. With the right education, we can bring a positive impact not only to our lives but also to the lives of others. It is our hope that you will continue to support our channel like this. So, let's move forward with our series on blood pressure. In the last video of this series, we saw what blood pressure is. With the help of physics behind motor pump, we understood blood pressure in simple words. If you haven't seen this video, you can watch it by clicking here. In the previous video, we told that 120 by 80 mm of Hg is called normal blood pressure. But do you know why it is called normal? What does mm of Hg mean? So let's start with this question only. The exact origin of the designation of 120 by 80 as the threshold for normal blood pressure is unknown. But modern epidemiologic studies have confirmed with a great deal of certainty that risk of heart attack or stroke begins to increase in adults when the usual systolic blood pressure is 115 or higher and or the usual diastolic blood pressure is 75 or higher. The risk steadily increases with higher and higher readings. So, the traditional 120 by 80 level remains reasonable as a threshold for getting doctor's attention. The reading is expressed in terms of pressure it takes to move mercury around a tube against gravity. This is the reason for pressure being measured using the unit millimeter of mercury, abbreviated to mm of Hg. The device used to measure blood pressure is a sphygmomanometer. It is not very difficult to measure a person's blood pressure. But before measuring blood pressure, we have to take care of few things. If you just smoked, exercised or had a cup of coffee, wait for 30 minutes to measure your blood pressure. Go to the bathroom and empty your bladder. Roll up your sleeves so you don't put the cuff over your shirt sleeve. Sit for at least 5 minutes without talking. Sit up straight with your feet flat on the floor. Don't cross your legs. Rest your arm on the table in front of you so your arm is at heart level. After taking care of all these things, you can measure your blood pressure. So let's now know about the correct way of measuring blood pressure. The person manually measuring your blood pressure will go through following steps. First, wrap the cuff attached to the sphygmomanometer around your arm. Then feel the pulse on the wrist of that hand right at this place. After taking the pulse, inflate the cuff to tighten it around the arm. To do this, the balloon attached to the cuff has to be squeezed. By inflating the cuff, the pressure will increase and the artery on your hand, that is the brachial artery, will be pressed. The blood flow will stop and the pulse you are feeling on the wrist will be missed. Note the number on the gauge at the time when you miss the pulse. The pressure should be 20 to 30 mm of Hg more than the number at which the pulse went missing. For example, if the pulse missed at 130 mm of Hg, then the pressure should be 150 to 160 mm of Hg. Now, after inflating the cuff, place the stethoscope under the cuff just inside the elbow crease right here. Then with the help of the valve attached to the balloon, slowly reduce the pressure that was created in the cuff. By doing this, the reading of the gauge will start coming down and the blood flow will start again in the brachial artery. When blood flow starts, sound will be heard in the stethoscope. Note the number on the gauge when the first sound is heard. That will be called the systolic reading of pressure. Now, reduce the pressure further and continue listening to the stethoscope until the sound ceases. Note the number on the gauge when the stethoscope sound ceased. That will be called the diastolic reading of the pressure. Doctors often use this type of monitor as it is more accurate than digital monitors. But for self-BP monitoring, you can easily measure blood pressure at your home with automated blood pressure monitor. But do keep in mind the points mentioned earlier before self-monitoring. So this was our second video on blood pressure series. In today's video we saw what is the correct way to measure blood pressure, why is 120 by 80 mm of Hg called normal blood pressure, and what does mm of Hg mean. After watching this video, I hope that you will be able to measure your blood pressure properly. Regardless of whether they are measured digitally or in the classical way, blood pressure checks are an important aspect of routine healthcare practices. A significant portion of the population will develop undetected arterial hypertension at some point during their life. If left untreated, this can cause permanent damage to the cardiovascular system as well as to other organs such as the eyes and the kidneys. So, in our next video, we will discuss about high blood pressure, that is hypertension. If you have found value in this video, please don't forget to like and share it with others. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please do so now. Please comment and provide your valuable feedback. Thanks for watching. Bye.